Oh. Hello, co-workers. Good evening. Hello, Q. Nice to see you here tonight. I'm trying to adjust some stuff here, but it looks like every time I click away from the game, it removes all my music. Let me see. I guess I can keep it. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, I gotta adjust my volumes here. Alright. Let's do that. Let's do that. I was trying to play around the settings to try and get this up already. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Already looking at the title screen at men. Yes. They look very, very handsome. I have to admit. It's fun because, like, part of my hobby is to kind of dig around on itch.io and Steam to find whatever visual novels or interesting concept games are out there. A lot of times where it just like has 0 reviews even, I just pick them up and go, you know what, let's try this, you know? We'll go. So, tonight we're gonna play through Phantom of the Twilight. This is apparently a demo. There has been no announcement of when this full game is gonna come out yet, that I'm aware of. But, looking forward to it. So, I believe this is actually a Korean game, so it's been translated to English. We will see how this goes. My dearest, you're always the most special presence in my heart. I vow to always be by your side through thick and thin with all my love. So it looks like by default our name is Lucy, but I might change that name. Even though I like Lucy, but can I change it? Is my keyboard working? Hold up. My keyboard should be working. Can I? Well, not. Oh, there we go. I might change it. You know what? I'm gonna call you Lucille instead of Lucy. Only because Little Bean's dog is named Lucy, so it feels kind of weird. Because that's the Lucy I know. So, Lucille, you know, close enough, right? We're gonna be Lucille. It's close enough. Alright, chapter 1. I actually have no clue how long this demo is. So, we're about to find out. So, this game takes place in a fictional, I think like 1860s London or something. And we have Mary. Oh, look at the time. It took too long for me to choose the handkerchief for my lady's birthday. Yeah, another London. I say this week is all about solving mysteries in London. Oh, I can see the full background too. She must be waiting for me. My, what will she do without us? The woman heard another set of footprints echoing from the dark alleyway behind her and turned around, nervous. Yo, you don't ever go to dark alleyways in London. Because I think there's a trend here. You know, don't go down dark alleyways in London. That's how you get murdered. The Brits get all the plot. You know, why do the Brits get all the plot? Why can't we have, like, something in Paris or France? You know, we've had, like, mystery stories that come from France. Something feels off. I should make haste back to the mansion. She hurried her footsteps to outpace them, but the other set of footsteps grew faster and faster as well. The woman started running without even looking back. However, she realized she didn't have enough time and quickly changed directions towards the streets. It seemed safer to head out to the streets and blend in with the crowd. The woman was certain that someone was following her. Fearful of the footsteps that she was unable to make distance from, she ran, feeling like her lungs were about to burst, until she finally approached a bright light. There's a shop that's still open, thank heavens! I should go in there. As the woman slowed down in relief, She was dragged back into the darkness that she so desperately tried to escape from. Uh-oh. Is she gonna get eaten by vampires? Is this gonna be a Jack the Ripper case? Another 50th retelling of Jack the Ripper, maybe? Next day, Lindere mansion.
아가씨?
Oh my god, it's voiced! Oh, in Korean.
아가씨?
The sunlight peeking through the thin curtains, the soft and comfortable sheets, and the sound of birds gleefully singing. It's been a while since the morning felt this relaxing. I like to stay in the bed a little longer. I was well aware who was attempting to wake me up.
예정된 시간에서 벌써 10분이나 지났습니다.
The strictly punctual butler of the Lindere estate always disapproved of me sleeping in like this.
아가씨?
It's such a nice day. 10 minutes should be fine. If I had under the sheets really quickly, maybe...
무의미한 일이라는 걸 알면서도 왜 매번 도전하시는 걸까요? 이럴수록 아가씨의 오늘 휴식 시간이 줄어들 뿐인데요.
Not the tea time. Charlie, do be sensible. Oh, hello, Charlie. Oh, you look fine. He's got a nice voice too. I'm not gonna lie, I picked up this demo purely because I was like, this is a really hot butler. I want to be able to romance if I can. I haven't had a break like this for quite some time, and I've had to suffer through countless balls because of father. I'm utterly exhausted.
사실관계는 정확하게 말씀하셔야죠. 아가씨가 아직 피곤하다고 느끼는 건 며칠 동안 계속 밤을 새서 책을 읽고 잤기 때문이에요.
Do you blame me? Those dense nobos who think they're the new sages were affecting my sanity and intelligence.
그건 이해합니다만 밤새 책을 읽으신 건 아가씨의 자업자득이죠.
You don't have to child me for it. I know I stay up late even if I tell myself to go to bed early.
그걸 핑계 삼아 언제까지 이렇게 빈둥거리실 생각이죠? 이런 건 3살 이후로 졸업하셨어야죠.
Oh, wow, Charlie, you don't need to be rude. 3-year-old children? Quite the exaggeration.
제 눈에 당신은 항상 3살짜리 어린애나 다름없습니다.
Why is Charlie just coming straight for my throat right in the morning? That's because you've been alive for too long.
부정은 할 수 없겠네요.
It wasn't often that the sunlight was this strong, and it was shining down on the beautiful silver-haired man before me, creating a picturesque scene. As I looked into his blood-colored eyes, I felt like acting an actual 3-year-old. Why don't you help me up then? As a 3-year-old, it's hard to get up from bed all by myself. It was an obvious joke, but Charlie, upon hearing me, smiled ear to ear. If someone else were to see his face right now, they would assume he was the sweetest butler there ever was.
뻔뻔하시긴. 정말 3살짜리 어린애보다 더 강적이시군요.
But he isn't.
지금 그 명을 내리신 걸 후회하게 될 겁니다.
What? I only asked that you help me up. What are you going to do?
3살짜리 어린애처럼 대접받길 원하셨으니 그대로 해드려야죠. 따뜻한 목욕물부터 욕조에 받아놓는 게 좋겠군요. 어린아이는 아침에 체온이 떨어지기 쉬우니 일단 푹 담가서 구석구석 씻겨드린 후에
Oh, he's just enjoying this.
손가락 하나 까딱하지 않게 하나하나 옷을 직접 입혀드리고 그 다음에는 베이비시트에 앉힌 뒤 유아식을.
No, thank you, Charlie. I'm not into age play. Stop. Fine, I'll get up. because I am an adult who is capable of getting up alone.
아쉽네요. 꽤 재미있을 것 같았는데.
With a mischievous laugh, he politely bowed and headed out.
눈 회복에 좋은 블루베리 차를 준비해 놓을 테니 씻고 서재로 내려오세요.
Ooh, blueberry tea. Charlie, known to be the very competent butler of the Lindere estate, was on the job as always. The Linderes had been maintaining Earl status for a long time, and the smallest misstep led to a mountain of paperwork. It hadn't been long since I succeeded my father in handling tasks as the Countess, but I was constantly reminded of how difficult things actually were.
아가씨, 조금 쉬다 하시죠.
Oh, is it tea time already? I removed myself from the desk I was supporting countless documents and sat on the sofa. Charlie handed me a warm cup of black tea and a piece of apple pie. Yum! I do like some apple pie, that is tasty. The Earl Grey is decent today.
오늘 레드 와인도 나쁘지 않군요.
Tea time at 3 in the afternoon. As the Linderes have always prioritized taking breaks even in the midst of a hectic day, I used that time to enjoy a cup of tea while Charlie indulged in a glass of wine. Buddy, it's 3 p.m. Why are you drinking at 3? It's not even 5 o'clock yet. Unless that's like, is that a British thing? You start drinking wine at 3 p.m. or is that just a vampire thing? Oh, it was because he was unable to taste anything other than wine. That's a shame. I think I'm almost done for the day.
꽤 빠르시군요. 백장님께서 아가씨께 역할을 맡긴 지 얼마 되지 않는 것 치고는 불평 한마디 없이 꽤 잘하고 계시는 것 같습니다.
I mean, is our father still alive? Is that so? Well, I suppose it's my duty. It's my duty as the heir of House Lindere. It's certainly not a breeze, but I would like to do it better.
언제 이렇게 다 크셨을까? 오늘 아침만 해도 일어나기 싫다고 칭얼대시던 분이 하루가 다르게 성장하고 있네요.
But I just want to sleep in. I don't know if she's an orphan. It sounds like her dad just passed the role to her. She succeeded him, but I don't know if he actually died. When you put it like that, it makes it sound like I'm going to grow old quite quickly. I want a long and prosperous life, you know. Anyways, this concerns the lives of everyone living on the estate. I'm not capable of personally taking care of everyone in this area, but this is the least I can do.
훌륭하십니다.
Charlie swirled a half-empty wine glass and grinned towards me. I got up from my seat, picking up the cold tea and one bite of the apple pie I had left. Let's take care of the smaller task first. Oh, Louise. Huh? A maid rushed into the room, breathing heavily. Charlie put down his glass and frowned slightly as he turned to speak to her.
루이스? 지금 노크도 하지 않고 서재문을 연 겁니까? 아무리 신입이라 해도 이건 기본이 안 되어 있는 것 같은데. 누가 이런 식으로 가르쳤죠? 에블린? 메리?
But my apologies, but...
변명은 필요 없어요. 지금 당장 나가서 문을 닫고 노크한 후 대답을
Man,
기다리세요.
Charlie is standing on business.
아가씨의 허락이 떨어지지 않는 한 절대 먼저 문을 열지 말아요.
Charlie, please, you have to listen to me. Mary is...
루이스? 문을 닫고 나가라고 했을 텐데요. 당신 교육 담당이 메리입니까? 그녀는 이런 식으로 어설프게 가르치지 않을 텐데.
Mary! Mary's dead! Oh yeah. I guess Mary was the lady at the beginning. What? I wasn't fully paying attention to Charlie and Louise's conversation until I heard the unthinkable and dropped my cup of tea.
이런. 아가씨, 홍차를 치마에 전부 흘리셨군요. 닦을 것을 가지고 오죠.
Charlie, this is not the time. Literally, one of our maids just died. We can change into a new dress later. That's not the problem here. Louise, what did you just say? I approached Louise with vacant eyes, stepping on the apple pie on the way. No, you dropped it, and grasped Louise's shoulder as she shuddered. Just hoping that what I heard was nothing but a bad joke. Mary was killed. However, I could tell that she was telling the truth. Estelle Lyris. This is how you open your intro? Our maid just died. Anyways, look at our hot, handsome man. Oh yeah. Just gaze into his eyes. A murder just happened, but it's okay. Harvey Ross. And Felix Cole. Okay. There were 4 guys. Oh. I was not expecting the intro to play right there and then lead to this. Just like the mood whiplash is quite something here. Oh dear, what a tragedy. This is the 3rd time, isn't it? Someone being discovered like this. I heard it's getting more brutal each time. It seems someone was violently hacked with a knife. Oh, is this another Jack the Ripper? Heavens, there's even a pool of blood. This isn't a show. Step away from the scene. We will be questioning witnesses based on those who live nearby. The location that Louise told me of was already crowded. The 3rd time? Violently hacked? Who was... Mary was?
꽤 넓은 범위에서 아주 진한 피냄새가 나는군요. 보아하니 아직 현장 그대로의 상태일 것 같은데.
Yes, I can kind of see, you know.
꼭
The blood
직접
splatter.
눈으로 보셔야겠습니까? 살해당한 사람이 정말로 메리라면 아가씨가 충격이 클 겁니다.
I'm aware. They don't care, or it's a bit frightening. Actually, I should probably save. Quick save. Sure, let's save. Oh. How do I go back? Back game. There we go. I don't know if I can stay sane, since it's my first time coming to a scene like this. But if it's truly Mary on the floor there, I can't ignore it. So if I am to stumble, I'll trust you to catch me.
정말 고집불통이시군요. 그냥 보지 않으시면 해결될 일을.
Charlie.
그 자리에 주저앉으셔도 됩니다. 아가씨를 부축하는 건 언제든 제 할 일이니까요.
So reliable. I don't want to embarrass myself like that. I took a deep breath and walked past the crowd, closer to the body. Passing by. Oh my, Lady Lucille! Why is she here? I could hear people talk, but that wasn't important. As I approached the police line, I could hear my own heartbeat faster and faster. And when I reached the closest point to the scene, I could see a hand poking out of the cloth covering the body. The ground she was lying on was drenched in crimson blood, and I instinctively knew that this was the start of an unusual case. Her Perhaps that body isn't Mary. It could be someone else. Louise might have mistaken it for Mary. Well, even if it were someone else, it doesn't change the fact that someone faced a gruesome death. I was struggling to accept everything that was happening before my eyes. I was blankly standing in front of the police line when someone approached me, a detective who seemed to be in charge of the scene.
그쪽은 린델 백 작가의 영애분 맞습니까?
Yes, I am.
여긴 당신 같은 귀한 분이 가볍게 놀러 올 만한 곳은 아닐 텐데요.
Gawking at? The man who was scanning me up and down with his emerald eyes didn't seem to have a good impression of me. Also, he's got such a Dorito-shaped body too. Like, wow, skinny waist. As a noble family that's held power for a long time, we have plenty of enemies and we're often the targets of unfounded hostility.
이건 구경거리가 아닙니다. 계속 여기 서 있으면 수사에 방해가 되니 자리를 피해 주시죠.
However, it could have been Mary who was the one on the cold, hard ground, and I had no intentions of backing out until I examined it for myself. I'm gonna make a logical rebuttal, like, excuse you. I'm not here to gawk at anything. The victim seems to be someone I know. I'm here to check her identity. I don't believe we've met before. If you recognize who I was, would it have been more appropriate to ask why I was here? As you mentioned, this isn't a scene for someone of my stature to be gawking at. I tried my best to maintain my calm and make my argument, and the man quietly stared back.
그 말이 맞네요. 무리를 사과드리죠.
He apologized and didn't try to put up a fight, which was unexpected. He soon took out a notebook from his pocket.
그럼 여길 찾아온 이유에 대해서 묻죠. 왜 오신 거죠? 피해자의 지인입니까?
If the victim is Mary Chapman, yes.
불행한 일이지만 맞습니다.
Aww.
정보는 어디서 듣고 왔죠?
Mary's a maid who has been working for the Linderes for a long time. There's a girl, Louise, who Mary was close with. Louise said that Mary had not come back after going out to buy something. And I'm here now because Louise came back from her outing and heard about Mary. Apparently, one of the witnesses recognized Mary on the ground.
알겠습니다. 그럼 조만간 참고인 자격으로 얘기를 들어볼 가치는 있겠네요. 때가 되면 백 작가로 찾아갈 테니 나머지는 경찰에게 맡기고 저택으로 돌아가서 차나 마시면서 기다리시죠.
We just had some tea. We're here to look into the murder. Excuse me? Wait, is that it?
아직 현장에서 해야 할 일이 많아서요.
He put his notebook back in his pocket and crossed the police line back into the scene. I wanted to hear more about the case. How would things be handled here? What will happen to Mary? I had a plethora of questions, but it didn't seem like the man was going to provide any answers. Yeah, that's happened to them so far. We know Charlie, and then the detective guy is our second male lead. Charlie, I believe a morse is somewhere nearby, right?
그렇죠. 바로 저 앞이니까요.
Perhaps Felix has some information. I should head there. I left the scene and made my way to M. Morse. Huh, M. Morse.
어서 오세요.
Oh, hello, Felix. Okay, well, right into male number 3, or love interest number 3.
아, 아가씨. 웬일로 여기까지 오셨어요?
I felt consoled by the sweet aroma that enveloped me as soon as I walked into the shop. Not gonna lie, those cookies or donuts in the back are looking real good right now. Felix was standing behind the counter and gave me a bright smile as he saw me come in.
아가씨가 드실 만한 케이크는 이미 전부 백 작가로 보냈는데.
Aw,
혹시
Sweet of him.
제가 이번에 보낸 것들이 마음에 들지 않으셨던 건가요?
It just looks like a cafe. So I assume he's like a pastry chef that works here.
지금 당장 가게에 있는 메뉴는 많지 않지만 이거라도 드셔보실래요?
We went into the kitchen behind the counter to fetch something before I had the chance to respond. What is this?
체리 푸딩 케이크인데 어떠세요?
I've never heard of a cherry pudding cake. You know what? I would like to try it. Not an appropriate time or take the cake. I know our maid is dead, but I do want the cake. Tasty. Just let me have a break. I'll have a little cake. It made my mouth water to see the pudding cake with a stunning red cherry on top. I unconsciously took the fork that Felix was holding out. Yeah, no, it was no secret I was gonna take the cake. I was like, you know what, Felix? Sure, since you're the one who baked it with such love. Perhaps just one bite.
한 입 말고 다 드셔도 돼요.
Ooh.
당신을 위해서 만든 거니까요.
Man, this guy! I don't know if he's intentionally flirting or not, but it's working. Oh, how sweet of you. Just like this cherry pudding. My, this is amazing. It's a little tart, but sweet and smooth. Why haven't you sent this to the estate before? Definitely not drugged. I don't think this guy would have the gall to drug a noble woman in a public space, especially like with our butler right next to us. I think that happened, Charlie would actually kill him. He seems like the type. Charlie doesn't seem like he'd hesitate.
시행착오를 좀 겪었거든요. 마음에 들어요?
I do. Please send these to the estate from now on.
그럴게요.
Felix smiled, and I finished a whole piece of cake. Meanwhile, as we're eating cake, someone is getting murdered. Ooh, she's not having a good time.
그냥 죽어.
Charlie and I kept searching for the culprit, and the police conducted an intensive investigation. However, the brutal murders continued to occur all around London. People call that period the Bloody Nightmare. So this is just basically some variation of Jack the Ripper. Of course. The culprit is still on the loose. And we couldn't do anything about it. That's rough. Yeah. Anyways, that cake was bomb though. Tastes real good.
황혼의
Was that the demo? Was that it? Oh my god. That was so short. I didn't even get to meet the last guy. No. Wow, that was wild. I thought it would be longer, not going to lie, because we've been playing demos that have been like so long lately, like at least an hour, or like the one I played on, I streamed on Tuesday was like 4 hours long. I'm surprised it was so short. Oh, was it because I ate cake? Was it because I ate the cake? Oh, I got a bad ending? I got a bad ending because I wanted to eat cake? Okay, let's go back. I was like, that was so short. Okay, let's go. Oh, okay, let's go back there. Alright, I got to skip through it. Oh, I didn't save. Yeah, sure. Let's skip through that. No, but come on. If Felix had it, he baked it for me, why would I say no to the cherry pudding, you know? Why would I not? Okay, let me make more save files. I didn't realize it got a bad ending. They didn't even tell me. So we're gonna just skip this part. I was not expecting to get a bad end so soon. Ah, curse you, tasty cherry pudding. Okay, I guess it's not an appropriate time. Ugh. The pudding cake looked delicious with cherry on top, but I turned away from the tempting dessert. Felix, now's not a good time. I'm not here to eat cake.
그게 아니더라도 한번 드셔보세요. 자신 있게 만든 케이크거든요.
I'll try it another time.
그렇게 말씀하시곤 저번에도 잊어버리셨습니다. 알겠어요.
Maybe hopefully we'll actually meet the last guy. He seemed a little disappointed, but he shrugged and moved on. Anyway, Felix, have you heard?
어떤 소식이요?
This morning, near your shop, there was a...
살인 사건 말씀하시는군요. 왜 모르겠어요. 바로 저 앞에서 일어났는데.
Have you heard anything about the case? Witnesses, suspects, or why Mary died?
글쎄요. 정확하게는 저도 잘 몰라요. 아침에 갑자기 누군가가 여기 시체가 있다며 비명을 질렀고 경찰이 와서 보더니 살인 사건이라고 하더라고요. 그리고는 보다시피 저렇게 밤낮으로 증거를 찾겠다고 길을 막아놨어요. 손님들 말로는 몇 번이나 칼에 배를 찔려서 죽었대요.
Oh wow, okay. This murderer clearly is vindictive. Like he has clearly some sort of beef with Mary or just women in general. So this is just Jack the Ripper then. I heard that too.
그렇군요. 왜 이렇게 흉흉한 일이 일어났는지 모르겠네요. 아가씨는 괜찮으세요?
I'm okay. Felix doesn't know anything either. I had no choice but to come back to the mansion, having gained no information on Mary's death. That night, I was alone in the study, deep in thought. Maybe it's best to just wait until the case is closed, like that detective said. But after I forced myself to swallow the dinner that was prepared for me, I felt trouble whenever I stood on the balcony to look down at the garden Mary used to tend to, or whenever I saw the handkerchief she used to iron for me. One less worker to pay? No, because Mary was useful to us. She was a good employee. She looked after the garden and ironed our handkerchief. Is there nothing I can do besides just waiting?
아가씨, 제가 도와드릴까요?
Hmm? For what?
고민하고 계시잖아요. 메리를 위해 뭐라도 하고 싶어서.
I guess there's no hiding it from you.
당연하죠. 당신이 눈도 뜨지 못하고 올 때부터 봐왔으니까요.
Right. I know there's not much I can do. I'm certain someone will accuse me of meddling in affairs where I don't belong. But Mary was like family to me. If I can use the Lindere name to do something, I'd like to do it.
아가씨가 원하신다면 그렇게 해야죠. 그 누가 뭐라고 하든지요.
Charlie smiled gently as he handed me a warm glass of milk. Thank you, Charlie. You were so supportive. Loving it. The next day, Charlie and I head to a college that was famous for attracting novos who like to study. King's College? Why are we here?
여기에 아가씨를 도와줄 사람이 있거든요.
Is that so? Who is it?
직접 만나보시면 압니다. 자, 이제부터는 혼자 가세요.
Hello, why? Aren't you coming with me, Charlie?
저기 보이는 401호에 있을 겁니다.
You've come all this way just to send me alone into the room? What about you?
제가 지금 아가씨와 같이 가면 도망칠 게 뻔해서요.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was like, why would you let me go into a room alone with some other man I've never met before? What? Why? Charlie was gone with the wind, without having answered my questions. The last thing I saw was a cryptic smile on his face. There should be a reason he's acting that way. I was curious, but this wasn't the first time Charlie was acting weird. I left the thought behind and made my way to the room. Room 401. This must be it. There's a small nameplate next to the door. Harvey Ross, Department of Psychology? Is he a professor here at King's College? I knocked on the door and a gentle voice answered from within.
네, 들어오세요.
Excuse me. I took a deep breath and carefully opened the door. A man was leaning against the desk, reading a book under the sunlight that was shining down from the broad windows. The man's blonde hair was loosely tied and he was wearing a dark crimson suit, which matched his eyes. He let a guest in but did not even turn to look at who had come in. Greetings, I'm Lucille. I introduced myself and the eyes that were fixated on the book turned to me. My heart skipped a beat as his indifferent face turned into a soft smile. I mean, he looks really handsome too.
이름은 익숙한데 처음 보는 얼굴이네요.
I like the way, you know what, it turns out the four guys so far, I like Charlie and Harvey. I mean, both of them just have that very, very handsome ikemen face to it. A little biased there. I have to say though, he does kind of remind me of Moriarty from Moriarty the Patriot, with the red eyes, blonde hair, and even like his outfit. Or not. It makes me think of it.
학생은 아닌 것 같은데. 무슨 일로 날 찾아왔죠?
I thought Charlie knew him. He seems to have no clue as to why I'm here. I wanted to interrogate Charlie about what was going on, but at the moment I had no choice but to answer his question. Say that you're a student here. We're just gonna lie? I don't think lying is a good option. I'm gonna say that he does detective work. Perhaps he also works as a detective apart from his professor occupation. I carefully asked the question with uncertainty. The nameplate said you were a psychology professor. Have you ever investigated a crime-related case?
그런 건 왜 물어보죠?
Well, what's happening? Charlie told me that he was going to be helpful. I was worried that the conversation would end here, so I decided to come clean. I'll be honest, there's a case I want to look into. Will you help me investigate it?
이름이 뭐라고 하셨죠? 나는 말 그대로 심리학과 교수이지 탐정이 아니에요. 당신은 정확히 내게 뭘 부탁하러 온 거죠?
Well... Why on earth did Charlie bring me here? I was still lost, but I decided to try to convince the professor to help me with their investigation. I'm not asking you to solve the case. And I'm not delusional enough to think that I could solve the case alone. I would just like some assistance in making more sense of this whole case. What are the inner workings of a perpetrator who commits these awful crimes? Why did the culprit kill Mary? These are the questions I'm hoping to know the answers to.
심리학을 배운다고 그 심리를 완벽하게 이해하게 된다면 당신은 이미 스스로가 아니라 그 범인이겠죠.
You understand someone's mind by learning? It's like, oh, okay.
당신이 그 심연을 오랫동안 들여다본다면 심연 또한 당신을 들여다보게 될 테니까요.
Ah, Nietzsche's, yes. Do you mean to tell me that it is reckless to even try?
그렇지는 않아요. 계기가 무엇이든 진리를 탐구하는 것은 항상 옳은 시도니까요.
He closed his book, stood upright, and looked back at me. Anyway, I'm here because Charlie told me about this place and
찰리?
I tried to progress the conversation, but I soon realized that I made a mistake. As I mentioned the name Charlie, his face turned stone cold. And
아, 이제야 기억이 났나 보네요.
before Harvey could step back and open the door, Charlie was blocking his path with a relaxed smile. With a short, heavy sigh, Harvey attempted to walk past Charlie, ignoring his question. However, Charlie did not budge.
지금 아가씨와 얘기 중일 텐데. 어딜 나가려고?
비켜요. 난 더 이상 얘기할 생각이 없습니다.
누구 맘대로. 그 누구도 함부로 아가씨와의 대화를 끊을 수 없어.
What's going on between them? I could sense that there's bad blood. I mean, there's some like bad vampire blood here. Tell Harvey to stay or tell Charlie to back down. I feel like Charlie is basically like our guard dog. That's always just like, hey, like no one messes with my lady. No, not me. Tell Charlie to back down or tell Harvey to stay. What happens if we just tell Harvey to stay? Wait, Professor. Please, hear me out. I had no intention of forcing you to do something. I assumed you and Charlie were acquainted, but I had no idea you would be this uncomfortable.
이제 와서 그런 사실 확인이 무슨 의미가 있죠? 난 저자와 얽히고 싶은 생각이 추호도 없어요. 당신이 어떤 사람이든지요.
Perhaps you could tell I was desperate for my voice. Even though his words were harsh, his expression has softened a little.
그 이름을 들었을 때 알아챘어야 하는데. 린델가의 개가 되어버린 당신이 머무르는 곳이었다는 걸요.
알아챘어도 소용없어요. 어차피 이렇게 될 거였을 테니.
It seems like he knows why Charlie's with the Linderes. Or Linderes. That means... I looked into Harvey's eyes, which were glaring at Charlie. They had a similar red hue to Charlie's eyes, but slightly darker. Are you a vampire as well?
언제인지는 정확하게 기억이 나지 않지만 100년 전쯤 병에 걸려 죽어가던 젊은 남자에게 제 피를 나눠줬던 건 기억합니다. 하지만 이제는 거의 반쪽짜리라고 할 수 있죠.
Oh.
한동안 흡혈을 하지 않았으니.
How would you know that, Charlie?
그에게서 인간의 피냄새가 나질 않으니까요.
I see. I knew that Charlie's blood can turn people into immortal vampires, as Charlie is the original vampire. Oh wait, okay. This is right. Okay, so the girl, your family has a butler, I guess, that's been serving your household for generations. Let's casually have a vampire in your employment. Not only that, okay, he's an original vampire. Oh. I also knew that the vampires he created lived among us in secret. It seemed like Harvey was one of them.
내 개인적인 일을 허락도 없이 잘도 털어놓는군요.
Oh. Yeah, it seems Harvey's got some beef for sure towards Charlie here. I mean, fair.
당신은 나를 만들어냈다는 이유 하나만으로 여전히 오만하고 깔보는 듯한 시선으로 쳐다보곤 하죠.
당연한 일입니다. 내 피로 태어난 후손이니 다시 죽이든 살리든 그 누구도 뭐라고 할 수 없지 않나요? 아가씨 이외에 내 존중을 받을 수 있는 인간 따위 존재하지 않아요.
Wow, stone cold.
나 또한 당신에게 존중받고 싶은 생각 따위 없어요. 그러니 지금 그냥 나가주세요.
Wait, Professor.
말해두지만 당신이 저자가 섬기는 사람이란 걸 안 이상 협조할 수는 없어요. 게다가 다시 말하지만 난 경찰도 아니고 탐정도 아니에요. 조사하고 싶은 사건이 무엇이든 간에 내가 정보를 얻을 방법도 없고 알고 싶지도 않아요. 난 도움이 되지 못할 거예요. 그러니 돌아가 주세요.
Professor. I turned to Harvey, hoping he'd recognize how important this was, but he looked away and sat down behind his desk with a guilty expression. He was making it clear that he did not wish to engage in any more conversation. I'll be visiting again. I stood there for a moment before I made my departure with a short goodbye. I scolded Charlie as soon as I returned to the mansion. You are to blame here, Charlie. We were there to ask for help, yet we were overly ill-mannered.
그자는 뱀파이어가 된 순간부터 제게 호의적인 태도는 아니었습니다. 예전에도 왜 멋대로 뱀파이어로 만들었냐면서 저를 원망하는 말을 쏟아낸 적이 많았거든요. 아마 도와달라고 두 손 들고 빌어도 별 소용은 없었을 거예요. 오히려 미친 거냐고 헛소리나 들었겠죠.
What? Then how you were going to get his help?
힘으로 밀어붙일 생각이었습니다만
Charlie, no. No, okay. Clearly you're lacking some degree of tact. Charlie was undoubtedly a brilliant butler, but he could be quite eccentric when it came to interacting with people other than me. I wasn't sure if being the original vampire made him that way, or if he was always like that.
재미있는 능력을 가지고 있는 자라서 이전부터 가끔 찾아가서 도움을 받곤 했었어요. 그래서 이번에도 들러본 것인데
It sounds like you didn't ask for his help, rather you forced him to help.
뭐 본인은 그렇게 생각할지도 모르죠.
Charlie, you're too shameless sometimes.
아무튼 그때보다 더 완고해졌네요. 죽을 때가 되어서 그런 건지.
What?
일단
die?
다른 방법을 좀 더 생각해보죠.
Fine. I leaned on a soft sofa and became lost in thought. As far as I was aware, Mary had a young daughter who lived with her relatives and did not own a house. Maybe the crime scene has been cleared now. What happens to the body that's taken away from the crime scene? It seems right that I hold the funeral for her. Questions led to more questions. Without any answers, I felt frustrated. I got up from the sofa and put on my coat again. Charlie, I'm going back to the crime scene.
동행하겠습니다.
As always, Charlie disappeared into the dark with a smile. Charlie's so sus. He just seems so sus. The brutal murder scene was mostly cleaned up, as expected. However, there were still police lines surrounding the area where Mary was. It seems they still don't want people to pass. Mary. I put down the flower bouquet I made with the flowers from the garden she used to tend to, and reminisced about the face of a friend who was not with us anymore. She would sometimes nag me more than Charlie, but she was a kind person who would treat me with love. She used to give embroidery for my birthday every year. I should have told her not to go out that night. I should have given her something to do at the house so she wouldn't have gone out. I couldn't stop thinking about the things I had no power to change. The sorrowful feeling of loss echoed inside me. At that moment... Oh, the detective guy. I heard someone's footsteps approach, and before I knew it, I was hiding in the alleyway. Oh, that's the detective from this morning. He was holding a bouquet of white flowers under the faint streetlight. He slowly walked up to the scene of the crime and came to a halt.
먼저 왔다간 손님이 있는 건가?
I heard him muttering as he looked at the flower bouquet I put down earlier. Oh, I mean, is he going to put down one too? Is he here to put down flowers as well? But it didn't seem like he knew Mary. Murders were not an oddity in London. I lost someone close to me, but it was interesting to see a detective, who is probably in charge of several cases, visit with flowers. He was so heartless with me earlier. I was stirred by his calm, serious eyes, which were completely different from when he was looking at me this morning. Oh dear. I was wondering whether I should leave quietly before he noticed me when my footsteps alerted him to my presence.
거긴 누구지?
I guess I have no choice. I awkwardly walked out of the alleyway. Ask if we can join him, I guess? I know you're putting down flowers. That bouquet, it's from me. It's okay if I join you. I was paying my respects. He realized I was the person who came before him and looked somewhat surprised.
이 늦은 밤에 여기까지 혼자 오신 겁니까?
I wanted to come back. To be fair, Charlie's probably somewhere nearby. I shrugged and stood next to him, quietly paying my respects. I thought about all the times I spent with her, with gratitude and admiration. I'll take care of your family, Mary. I'll watch over your daughter until she grows up to become a brilliant young woman. I could sense that he was staring at me. What is it? Did you actually think that I was going to be drinking tea like you said?
실례되는 얘기겠지만 그럴 거라고 생각했습니다.
Rude indeed.
꽃이 예쁘군요.
I just picked them from the garden Mary used to tend to. She would have been appalled at how big I made a bouquet. But now there's no one who would scold me for it.
그녀는 기뻐할 겁니다.
The smooth, low voice was rather different from when I first met him. I felt a little better thanks to his efforts to console me. A chill breeze swept past us as we were standing side by side in silence. I know you're right. I know there's not much I can do. Being upset at this injustice is probably the only thing I can do. Still, if circumstances allow it, I would like to do whatever I can. Even if you tell me to stay out of it, I will probably poke around and investigate. I can't protect all the people who live here. But I can't help but hope for the safety and happiness of those within my reach. Even if it looks selfish from the outside.
현실적이군요.
He put down the bouquet he was holding and continued speaking.
지나치게 높은 이상을 주장하는 것보다는 좋다고 생각합니다. 분수에 넘치는 욕심이 항상 일을 망치게 만드니까요.
Oh, he's got a low pipe as well. Yeah, it's very sad, but it's nice though at the same time, you know, Mary was one of our maids. And yes, we never even saw her face in this game, but it's like she's still someone that worked for us, right? But then she got brutally murdered, which was very
형사로서는 말려야 한다고
sad.
생각합니다만 개개인이 하는 일까지 제가 일일이 알 필요는 없겠죠.
Does that mean?
당신이 하고 싶은 대로 마음껏 하면 됩니다. 단 수사를 방해하지 않는 선에서요.
Oh, he's actually nicer than we thought. Oh, hold on, that's the log. I thought I caught a glimpse of a fake grin on his face, but by the time I realized it, he was already gone.
황혼의 유령.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, so that... Okay, so we did get Chapter 1, Heir of the Linderes. So that was the proper ending this time. We didn't get the first bad ending of just eating cake or eating more pudding. Oh, I get Charlie, some CGs there. All very nice artwork, I have to say. I really like it. like, ooh. And then common. I love that. We only have 3 though. I guess Felix doesn't even get one. Poor Felix. Oh, the music. The opening. Oh, that's cool. It's already in place here. Now let's keep your eyes peeled for additional production after the release. And then we have the options. There are some spelling errors, like their heroine face. We can turn our heroine face on or off if we want to look like we're on drugs. Skip mode. But otherwise, I mean, the translation was fairly good. And I wasn't expecting the game to be voiced, but I'm not complaining. I liked it. You know, I like the voices so far. And like all of the art style as well. The CGs are really pretty. But yeah, I guess the demo only captured the first chapter, and we got to briefly see all the guys, but I'm curious now the role they're gonna play in the story. I mean, Charlie is a given. Charlie is like our butler, so he's just with us regardless. And Aaron's a detective, so we run into him investigating this murder mystery. We still don't know what Harvey's abilities are, so still yet more to know about him. And poor Felix had the least amount of like on-screen time. He didn't even get a CG yet, so I feel like these 3 are connected somehow. I have no clue how Felix is involved in this case as like a pastry chef. Like, he's a baker, I guess, like some sort of pastry chef. He works at a cafe, but I'm like, he doesn't even know anything about the case. So I'm super curious on how he is actually involved with all of this, unless he turns out to be the murderer somehow. Otherwise, I'm also curious too, because it looks like Felix also has kind of like darkish orangey eyes. So I'm wondering if he's a vampire too. Because Harvey's half vampire, so maybe Felix is also a half vampire. I don't know. English is very good to the American ideal of the world here. Yeah, I think that the translations were good. I didn't really have... There was like 1 or 2 typos and some of it in the main menu, but otherwise, like, it was pretty good overall. Like, pretty smooth, I would say. Yeah, the only shame is that there is no release date. Actually, I've just gotta click and see briefly in the store for this, because I remember when I looked at this game, they did not seem to have a release date. Anthem of the Twilight, let's see. Yeah, the demo is there, so there's no release date announced yet. So yeah, kind of curious how on extra news about this. I was like, do they not even have Anthem of the Twilight demo? Okay, well, okay, so this demo was released in August. So it's been like 4 months. I guess they're still, working on it. There's no other news yet. We just kind of see profiles of the characters. But yeah. I think you need to put more links to be able to follow this. So it doesn't seem like to be a Kickstarter either, so. And the game is in English. Apparently it's also in Korean, but it's also going to be in Chinese and Japanese as well. Oh, huh. I liked it overall. No, I think I would continue playing this, considering I like all the characters design so far, and I mean, I also really like Charlie. Please let me Let me romance Charlie. He's been kind of a jerk, but at the same time, he's only nice to us, but he's also kind of a jerk in a way. And then he's been a vampire for who knows how long, but I would like more butler love interest in my game, so I will hopefully continue to play this regardless, even if it's just for Charlie over here. But the others are nice too, so I guess you guys can take your pick of your faves so far that we know of. I feel like I'd probably be able to enjoy each of their routes. I like what I see, you know? So hopefully there'll be some more news that comes out in the future. Maybe like some updates still announced. For now, there wasn't anything yet. But good on them also for voice acting. I was not expecting voice acting, so that was a pleasant surprise. I like Harvey, just blonde people. It's good. You know what? Props to you for having a type, right? We all do. I know there's like people who are really into silver-haired characters, and then the blonde hair ones too. I actually have a bias design-wise for the like characters, gentle characters with brown hair and green eyes. That was like one of my things. And of course, I also really like butler characters. There's not really enough of them, so I'm like, yes, just give me Charlie. He kind of reminds me a bit of Jacob from Fire Emblem. It's like Fire Emblem. Well, it's like Fire Emblem Fates. That's what it's called. Reminds me of my butler Jacob from Fire Emblem Fates, who was also a bit of a jerk, but super nice to the main character, us, the player, specifically. Really like, yeah, light hair characters. Yeah, just like tropes, you know, you follow. And there's always gonna be exceptions. Oh yeah, for sure. Because there'd be like some characters where I'm like, I'm not really into this type, but I like this character specifically. And that's what it ends up being. Oh, I'm pretty sure I have that in like other series as well. Oh, like for me, I'm thinking like maybe Idia. Well, actually no, Idia kind of falls into a pattern some other characters I've liked before. Maybe Rook. Otherwise, everyone else is kind of consistent. Actually, no, Azul is actually an exception because I'm not really into the Megane type. Like, I was never like, oh my god, Megane, like the calculative Megane trope, but I really liked Azul, so he was an exception to that. And it's always fun when you have like the little exceptions. You're like, I'm not really into this, but just like, I mean, I still stand by that I'm not into yanderes. I'm generally not, generally, I'm not into yandere characters, but I really do like Mr. Scarlatella from Hama Cypher. So, you know, some exceptions here, I'm like, okay, kind of lead into that. But yeah, that was the demo. That was it for Phantom of the Twilight. It's on Steam if you guys want to check it out. You can play it yourself, or can we even wishlist it? Let me see. Yeah, you can add to your wishlist. So you can add to your wishlist if you want. Also write a review in it and keep your eyes on it. It looks like there's one other game that this I guess this developer has created, but it seems like they're a fairly new group in general. Mr. Scarlatella is really growing on me. Honestly, that's honestly what I felt. Like when I picked up the game, I was like, oh, you know, I don't even when I played the demo, I was like, oh, you know, I'm not really feeling Mr. Scarlatella here. You know, he's It's like I have no idea what his thing is of, like, he was kind of creepy, generally scary in some parts of the game. But when I finished the game, like when I got his endings, I was like, you know what? I really want to find out more. Like, I actually want more Scarletella content. I was like, oh man. And then before I knew it, I was going down a rabbit hole of fan content for Scarletella, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm digging this. He's growing on me. I'm really enjoying for now seeing kind of fan works of his character. I saw fan art of Twist and Hall Cipher crossover. Yes, I actually saw that too. Of Riddle as Mr. Scarletella. I'm like, you know, that works. That works really well. I mean, they're the same color scheme anyways, right? It's a little harder to cast the other characters unless we do like Silver as Mr. Silver. Kind of a little on the nose there. But it was, yeah, I like that fan art. It was nice. Yeah, again, just new exceptions. That was fun. But anyways, I digress. Today's stream was a little shorter, which is fine. You know, I felt like the one on Tuesday was so long. It took me 4 hours to get to the first case. I was not expecting that length, but you know, we're good here. I will keep an eye on this game if it ever comes out in the future, so I can play more. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for joining me tonight. I was like playing through different games and chatting with you. So until next time then, good night to you. Good night to all the co-workers, and I'll see you all in the next video or stream. Take care and night. This is Goemio locking out.